Welcome to the Oprah Show! For the season finale, we're going to be asking audience members questions for me. First question, you there.
You lived with your grandma as a child. How would you say your relationship with her was?
I spent my first few years on a farm in Mississippi with my grandmother. We had a great relationship. She taught me to read at an early age too, which was very important to me, and I'm thankful for that. I loved living with my grandmother, but when my mom got a job in Milwaukee, I had to move in with her.
What was life like in Milwaukee?
It was much different living with my grandmother. My grandmother was often there for me and taught me lots of things. The difference was, when I went to live with my mother, she was often absent and wasn't a very good mother figure. We also lived in the inner city, which was a huge culture shock because it was busy and crime-ridden. It was a bad place for children to grow up.
Your adolescent life is something no one should have gone through. How do you think that affected the person you are today?
It has made me a stronger individual, and it has helped me to become who I am today. I don't have a problem with speaking out about things like rape and abuse. I believe that when someone experiences something like that, it makes it easier to talk about it and help others through those circumstances. I was sexually abused by a number of male relatives and family friends while living in Milwaukee with my mother. It was emotionally devastating, and instead of confronting the problem, I tried to run away from it. I know now and try to teach women that the problem should be confronted immediately and shouldn't be tolerated.
Looking back, what would you say is your lowest point?
At age 14, I was out of my parents' house and on my own. I was sexually promiscuous. At this point in my life, I got pregnant and gave birth to a stillborn baby. While I wasn't prepared to have a child, I was very devastated that the baby was stillborn. It made me realize that I needed to get my life together, because if the baby would have been healthy, I would have been able to take care of it anyway. My mother decided to send me to Tennessee to live with my father, where I started to get my life together. Yes, what's your question?
You were sent to live with your dad in Tennessee. How was that different?
My father was very strict. Unlike my mother, he had great discipline. He made me meet a curfew, and each week he made me read a book and write a book report. It was much different than living with my mother. As strict as he was, he had some concerns about me making the best of my life. And he did not expect anything less than what he thought was my best. My dad pushed me in the right direction, causing me to become an honor student and helping me to win a full scholarship to the State University of Tennessee.
Were you finally glad to go to college and go to the University of Tennessee?
Yes, I felt independent again, but this time I had a good head on my shoulders. I felt like I could become someone my parents would be proud of for the first time in my life.
Were you afraid of leaving college and going to the local TV show?
Yes, it was hard because I didn't know if I'd be successful. It was hard to throw away a scholarship and education for something I didn't know was a for sure thing. But because I left, I became the first black female news anchor in Nashville's WTFE-TV. I then moved to Baltimore and co-anchored in the 6 o'clock news. Then I was recruited to co-host on a local talk show called People Are Talking.
How did it feel to host your first TV talk show?
That's a good question. When I was recruited by the Chicago TV station, I felt like my life was finally actually going somewhere. It felt great to know that my dreams were coming true, and I was going places. Phil Donahue was a major competitor of mine, which only inspired me to work harder towards reaching my dreams. I believe that the way I conducted the show, with expressing my passions, was what put my show from last to first in ratings, beating Phil.
When you found out that you were #1 in ratings, how did you feel?
I was super excited. I felt like my dreams had finally come true. The only thing that bothered me was the racial persecution I suffered. It only made me want to prove that no matter what, I was going to make a difference in the world, and I was a strong woman, white or black.
You were asked to be in a movie. Has acting always been an interest for you?
As a child, I loved to recite poems in local churches. And as a student, I competed in dramatic recitation. So when I was asked to play the role in Steven Spielberg's movie, The Color Purple, I was thrilled!
What did you think, knowing you'd been nominated for the Best Supporting Actress in the Academy Awards?
I felt it was a breakthrough, not only for my career, but for all black actors and actresses. The award wasn't just an award for acting, but it represented the hard work in multiple areas.
You didn't stop there. After that, you launched the Oprah Winfrey Show. Did you ever think you'd be that successful?
I wanted the Oprah show to focus on issues I thought were important to the American public. I thought it would be successful because I talked about things other shows didn't, like spiritual values, healthy living, and self-help. The show quickly gained 120 channels and 10 million audience members.
In the first year alone, you gained $30 million. Did you ever think you'd be that successful?
I promised to keep my show free of tabloid topics, which I believed caused me to gain the respect of many viewers. I'm also blessed for the people that work for me because they have always come up with great ideas to put the show together. These great ideas have brought in more viewers and kept them coming back.
What has been your most memorable show or interview that you've done?
Oh, good question. My favorite shows and guests have to do with people who are really inspiring. People who fought to beat the odds and clear all stereotypes. For instance, Jeff, who experienced extreme weight loss. Monica, who pushed through the amputation of both arms and legs. Mary, who murdered her own husband and struggles with the fact that she still loves him even though he sexually abused her. Jenny, who talked about being transsexual. And David, who experienced the death of his young sons. And Ted, who married a woman while being accused of homosexuality.
You have been known for your weight loss efforts. What do you say to that?
I've bounced from diet to diet, and I eat to try to deal with my emotions. I've successfully lost weight in the past, but my weight gaining has always overcome me.
Next question?
Oh, pick me!
Yes, you there?
Because of your weight loss efforts, both your personal chef and trainer have sold best-selling books. How do you believe you have shaped the publishing world?
After running a marathon in Washington, D.C., both my personal chef and trainer wrote best-selling books. I also launched the Oprah Book Club, which helped multiple unknown authors become bestsellers.
Can you explain your role in Oxygen Media?
I co-founded Oxygen Media, which is a dedicated station for women. The station became a success, which allowed me to open the Oprah's Angels Network, which is an organization that allows me to collect millions of dollars a year for charities.
Sadly, you have come to the decision to end the Oprah Winfrey Show. Was this an easy one for you to make?
It was one of the hardest decisions for me to make, because the show was very important to me. It was a place where I could show the great and not so great of the world. I liked to have the show and the audience members. It was like a family to me. Although the show is ending, I am creating the Oprah Winfrey Network, which will have shows that reflect the principles that my show did.
Life magazine has called you the most influential woman of your generation. What do you think when you hear statements like this?
As a child, I could have never have fathomed what I've become today. I think back to the child I once was and how I've developed. I feel like my life is an example of how hard work, faith, and following your heart can help you to become someone great. I think that this happens to a lot of people, but my struggles and successes were made public. There are many influential women like me.
Do you think that the fact that you are a self-made billionaire has caused you to be the generous person that you are today? I mean, you have raised more than $50 million for charities and organizations.
I believe I'm motivated by my own memories of my childhood abuse. I realize what it's like to have nothing and to struggle through life. A lot of people who are wealthy have always been wealthy, and they don't realize what it's like to be poor or a middle-class person.
You have been known for being an activist of children's rights. What are some things you have done to accomplish it?
I initiated a campaign of a national database of convicted child abusers. I testified before the U.S. Senate on behalf of the National Child Protection Act. In 1994, President Clinton signed the bill into law that created the nationwide database that I had sought for. I also founded the Family for Better Lives Foundation, which helps children with basic needs so they can pursue their true potential.
Tell us about your role in the presidential election of Obama.
Well, I decided to help the campaign of Obama in 2007. I also attended some rallies in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. Fortunately, we won Iowa and South Carolina. Not only did I believe in what Obama proposed as the President of the United States, but I believed that it was time for an African-American president.
You are the first of many things, such as the first black billionaire and the first woman in history to own and produce her own talk show. How does this make you feel?
With every first, I felt a new sense of accomplishment. I'm proud of my many achievements and hope I'm an inspiration for women and minorities to follow their dreams. I hope people have learned from me and my experiences that anything is possible with a little faith and hard work. For the conclusion of the Oprah Show, I'm going to be giving away a new TV and, drum roll please, a brand new vinyl!
Looking back,
My shaver. Fortunately, we won Iowa and South Carolina. Now, fortunately, we won Iowa and South Carolina. You just lost your accent.
Best selling books.
Next question. Oh, that's a good question.
Okay, you have also had a role in...
You've also had an influence. What did you think, knowing you've been... I am proud of my many achievements. I am proud of my many achievements and hope that I am only an inspiration to men. I have always struggled with my weight. I bounce from diet to diet, and I try to eat. I felt it was a breakthrough. Stop it. So when I was asked to play the role in Steven Spielberg... So when I was asked to play the role in Steven Spielberg... So when I was asked to play the role in Steven Spielberg... So when I was asked to play the role in Steven Spielberg's...